Okay, so like I said, we're going to jump straight on in and start making this site now. Now, although we don't need individual pages like we do on other sites, we still need to create pages for certain things, and you'll see what that means as we go on and start building the site. But before we do anything, we're going to go into our pages, delete this sample page that's in here, and go to add new, and we're just going to call this home page. And we're not actually going to put anything on this page, we just need it there so that the template can function properly, and you'll see what I mean by that a little bit later on. But we need to go down to template and click front page, and then we'll publish that. And now to start building the site, we're going to go into appearance and customize. And like I always say, if you're using a different theme, this will be slightly different. For most of the one-page themes, a lot of the work is done in this customize menu, so it should be fairly similar. But what we need to do, go to static front page and change this to a static page, and then click front page and click the home page that we've just created. And then we can go save and publish. And now we're all set up. So you'll see a few things here look the same. So we've still got our site identity and our header and all them things. But down here we've got a section called front page sections. Now if we click into this, these are all the features on our front page. So this is where we edit basically the whole website. So for example, hero up here is this top section. Features is not on here at the minute, but I'll show you it later on. About is obviously our about section. Then we have video lightbox, which is this section underneath. Gallery, services, clients, all the way down to contact at the bottom. So all we're going to do is go through each of these steps and edit and add the content that we want. We're not going to use them all, but then you'll see the site start to build as we go along. But just before we jump into that, we're going to go back and we're going to go up to our site identity and do the basics. So first of all, we need a logo. So like I said, I'm making this site as if it was for Gary Vaynerchuk. So I'm just going to get a logo quickly up here. Okay, so I've just created a very simple logo we can use with his name, and we click select. And then obviously we'll crop that down so it looks more like a logo. And if we scroll down, I've just deleted the title and tagline, but we can just click hide, because this theme gives us the option to. The site icon, we're going to use the same image again, but perhaps we'll just crop it down to say Gary, and then we'll click crop image. And there we go. Obviously we need to click save and publish and go back. The header we don't need to worry about because we're not using it. This isn't actually the header, this is one of the features. So this might show up on other pages of our site if we had them, but because we're just making the one-page site, we don't need to worry about it. We don't need to worry about the background image. The menus I'll show you right at the end. How I like to build these sites is build out all the features first and then add the menus after, just because of the way, sort of the flow of doing it, it's a lot easier that way. Widgets is obviously for our footer, which we don't need to touch. At the minute, static front page we've already changed, and then the next one is front page sections. If you look just underneath, there's a section here that's got a padlock on it. That's because it's a premium feature, so you can upgrade here to the premium theme, and it gives you a few more options for styling the different features and sections. We're not going to do that, we're going to keep everything free, so all we need to worry about is this section here. So if we go into it, as I said before, each one of these is a different section on the website. We're going to start right here at the top, so hero. Now on each of these you'll see a box, the first box will say hide this section. If we tick that, it will just get rid of the section for us. So it means we don't have to use them all if we don't want to. We're going to keep this section in. Where it says section ID, hero, this I'll explain a little bit later, but I would keep these as standard for now until you know what they do. It's basically a link anchor. So when we've got a menu up here, for the link all we need to do is put a hash and then type hero, and it means that button will then take us to that part of the website. So I will go over that a little bit later, but just to explain what it is. And then we go down and this is where we start editing. So we click on this item. First of all, we're going to want to change the background image of this section. So if I just upload a picture for us. So there we go, now we've got our image in place. The next thing we need to do is edit this text. So if we look up here, it's a very basic text editor. You can drag this to make it bigger. It's all kind of written in HTML, but it's still very simple. Obviously, all this means header 1 is the type of text that's there. Strong just means it's bold. And then everything inside here is obviously the text. So if we delete this, we could write Gary Vaynerchuk builds businesses, for example. And we go in here and we paste or type this out. And I'm kind of happy with that. I want to make this on a separate line. There we go. And then underneath I don't write any text there, but you can obviously write whatever you want. Now this bit down here controls these two buttons. Now it looks a little bit complicated, but it's not really. All you need to look at is these bits here where it says the text. So that one says get started. What we're going to have it say is, I'm going to put follow me. Now the only other thing, I'm just going to make a space here so you can separate the two buttons and we can see. The only thing you need to change is with this, where it says features. So wherever it says hash and then something, that's the different section of the website. So hash features is actually a hidden section at the minute, but it's the bit that would be above the about us. And on this one it says hash contact, so that's obviously this bottom section here. So all that means is when someone clicks this button, it's going to take them to the features section. Now as I said, it's hidden at the minute, but I'm going to keep it as that because that's where I'm going to put his social media. On this second one, I'm going to type hire me to speak, because obviously he is a public speaker. Hire me to speak. And here we're going to leave it as contact as well, because that's where we want people to go. We want them to go to the contact page so they can send us an email and hire us to speak. I'm just going to quickly close this gap so we don't have a line between the buttons there. But I hope that kind of makes sense, and it will make more sense as we go on. So that we can leave as it is. And if we scroll down, this is just the alignment. I'm going to move it to the left so it kind of fits in with the image a little bit better. And then obviously there's a few things we can change here. These aren't to do with the text, this is to do with the whole section. So the background overlay would be an overlay over this picture. At the minute I think it looks fine, we don't need it. If we have this enabled at the top, what that basically means is if I save and publish this, let me just go back and open up a live preview site for us. Okay, so what that option basically means is if I scroll down on this page now, you'll notice that the text starts to fade and then the whole picture starts to go dark as I scroll down, and when I go back up it brightens up again. That's all this feature is down here. So if I took that off and click save, whenever I scroll down now it saves as a solid picture. So that's all that is. I'm going to keep it on because it's a nice effect. Now this second option down here to make it full screen, all that means is if we tick it, no matter what size screen that the person's viewing the site on, this first section will fill the whole thing. So I'm going to tick that, and then it'll get rid of these two options down here, which will basically just to stretch the section anyway. So we'll click save. So this second section is our features section, and at the minute it doesn't show up because we've got nothing in there to show. First of all, you'll notice the section ID is features, so we're going to keep that the same, and that matches up with the button that we had on here. So here I've put this button to link to the features section, and this is called features. So whenever someone clicks follow me, they'll go down to this section we're about to create. Now we can add a title down here, a subtitle and a description, and you'll see that looks like that. For what we're going to do, we're not going to have any of them, so if I just quickly delete them, we're going to move straight on to the content down here. Now here's where it gets a little bit complicated, because for the content it's asking us to select a page still. So although we don't need pages to link people to, we still need pages to have content on that will show up on this first page. Now this will make more sense as we go through it, but basically what we're going to do, if we scroll down on this demo site, you see these three things here, these three features. This is what we're going to add in. The reason we need pages is so we can add this content down here. Now it's a little bit hard to explain without showing you, so I'm just going to go ahead and create this section and then you'll see what I mean. So we need to go out of features and back to our site, and then go to pages, and we're going to add new. And like I said, we're going to have three different features on that page. So we're going to have YouTube as one, and then we need a little bit of content to put in here. So if we go to Gary's site, for now we're just going to copy this, what he's got down here, and click publish. The next one we're going to have is Instagram, and again we'll just copy whatever's down here and publish. And the third one is going to be Snapchat, so copy that. So now if we go to pages again, you'll see we've got these three pages. Now that's all we're going to put on them. We go back to appearance and customize, back into our features section and scroll down. Now we'll click select page, and the first page we'll click YouTube. Featured image we'll click icon, and then we click on this and we can now search for a YouTube icon. Now it's saying, I'll just show you, we'll click save and publish on here. Now you'll see it's added this section in here. It has got a read more button underneath which you can keep in, but that is obviously going to link to the page we just created, the YouTube page. We are going to get rid of the button because we don't want it to link anywhere, and click save and publish. I'm just going to go through, add an item and do the other two pages we had. So if we go to Instagram. Okay, so I've just been through and added the other pages. Now if we refresh our site, you'll see now we've got the three features. One thing we're going to need to do is change the background colors so we can keep the YouTube as red, and then we'll change these two to kind of make them stand out a bit more. So for Instagram, we can have like a pinky purple, and for Snapchat obviously we want a yellow color. And then we click save and publish and refresh. And now you can see we've got this second section under here. This is the features section, which has got 3 of our social medias, because obviously Gary's really big on social media with all these links on his site. It doesn't have to be social media, it could be absolutely anything. And although we deleted the read more button, you could keep that in, and all that would do is link straight to the site, so the straight to the page that we created, so the YouTube page. And you could have a whole load of information and content on that if you wished. I'm going to keep this as strictly a one-page site, so we're not going to do that. But I think the site's looking pretty good so far. We've got our logo up here, we've got our hero feature section, and if we click these buttons they will link to the feature and the contact us form, and then obviously this feature section we just put in underneath. Now in the next video I'm going to go down and show you how to do the about us section, we're going to do the video section, and we'll see which of the sections we're going to include in the site.